and welcome to another beautiful day here in Chile. It's so great to be back with you here on La Red, where we get to speak and teach in English together. And today on the Gringo Show, we have one of the most important investigation journalists that we have here in Chile. And I'm proud that she's a part of our channel here at La Red. Today on La Red, we get to welcome Alejandra Matthews.
That was in 1996.
Okay.
You were not born yet, I guess.
It was. I was 10 years old. I was 10.
Okay. All changed when the book was confiscated, and we had to leave immediately the country.
Today, our guest is somebody just like that. They had to leave Chile for a reason that we're going to talk about soon. But she took advantage of this time when she went to the United States and she studied. So I cannot wait to talk to her today. Her name is Alejandra Matthews, and she's going to be right here with us in just a second. The time has finally come to welcome Alejandra onto the Gringo Show. Today, we're going to challenge her, though, and we're going to have some fun with it. Welcome to the show, Alejandra.
Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
No, I couldn't wait to be in your show.
That's
I think
amazing.
It's a very fun show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But before you flatter me and make me blush, even though nobody can see my red cheek, I'm going to put
see your forehead.
Yeah, they can see my forehead. That's always red, and my hair is red. I'm going to put you to the challenge, though, and I'm going to have you sing a famous song. It has over 200 million views on YouTube.
Oh, my God.
And it's by Elvis Presley.
Oh.
Okay.
Well,
are you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's cue the music. All right, here we go.
Right.
The lyrics will be up here.
Wise men say, only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Could it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? Like a river flows soon into the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too. For I can't help falling in love with you.
Excellent. Nice job. That was a classic song.
Yeah, it is. Well, you know, in my family, there is a traditional joke about me that when I was 12 years old, more or less, the year Elvis died, I cried very much for him.
Yep.
And I didn't cry for my mother, who was in the hospital. So they always make fun of me.
Yeah, they should make fun of you. You cried for Elvis and not your mother.
I cried for Elvis and not for my mother, but, you know.
Well, I really want to ask you a couple of questions in my living room that we're going to set up here in just a second. And my first question is going to be, did you go and see Elvis Presley's house and all of his things and things like that in the United States?
No.
All right, we're gonna answer more of that in just a second. Let's set up our living room and let's have a conversation.
Oh, great.
Oh, I'm so comfy here in my living room. This is so nice. It's a great spot to have a conversation and talk. And Alejandra, you lived in the United States. You're a fan, obviously, of Elvis Presley. And you never went to go see his things in Tennessee?
No, but I have a very good friend, Lore Benjan. It's another journalist and fan of Elvis. She went, and I think she even developed a relationship, a friendship with his sister.
Oh.
So she brought many
souvenirs
and she gave me one that I put on
nice.
my backyard.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's your relationship with the United States? How did you get there, and what do you think of the United States now?
Well, I have lived in the United States in several different occasions. The first one was because I had a fellowship to work in an American newspaper. And that was in 1996.
Okay.
You were not born yet, I guess.
It was. I was 10 years old. I was 10. Okay. I was young.
Okay.
I was a little boy, a little gringo.
A little gringo. So I was there for 6 months.
Okay.
And then I came back and finished writing the Black Book of Chilean Justice.
Uh-huh.
And I had a boyfriend, an American boyfriend. And we were engaged to marry, and all changed when the book was confiscated, and we had to leave immediately the country. We were in Chile, and so we went first to Argentina, thinking that it was not gonna last too long. But when the trial, extended, we decided to go back to the U.S., this time forcibly.
So with the book is super interesting to me, and I know that my whole family watches back in the United States this program. Could you explain a little bit about the book and what that book means to you? First of all, let's translate it into English. So, the Black Book of Chilean Justice, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
The Black Book of Chilean Justice is an investigation on how the judiciary works in Chile. And I investigate through the whole history, but mainly during dictatorship and during the first 10 years of democracy. And there are accounts of corruption, nepotism, and different behaviors that were damaging to Chilean people. But I would say mostly that we really didn't have a judiciary that was the third power of the state, as it should be, a power that could not only go trying to catch the bad ones, but also protecting the people's rights. And that was the topic of the book.
So then skip ahead. You wanted to release the book, but
the book was released. The book was released. Actually, yesterday was Tuesday 13. I presented the book at Tuesday 13 of April of 1999.
Okay.
And the next day, the following day, I received a call from the publisher telling me that the police was there confiscating the book. And then that was when I had to decide or either stay and face jail, because I had a persecution under the national security law, or I had to leave. If I had to leave, I needed to do it immediately because a detention warrant was
being made for you.
Yeah, exactly.
That is some scary stuff that you had to deal with. And how old were you when that happened?
I think I was 32.
32. So did that change your life? Was that scary for you? Did that change how you went about journalism for the rest of your life? Or how did
it changed. Well, I grew up in dictatorship, and I started to work in 1987. And so not that I wasn't aware of the country I was living in, so I knew the risk of exercising journalism. But it changed my life because I didn't want to go to live in the United States at that moment for that reason. So I was there 2.5 years, mostly fighting against this undemocratic law, presenting the case in the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, giving speeches, and the life of an activist, which is
it's a hard life. That's hard.
It's hard and it's necessary. But I didn't want to be an activist. I want to be a journalist.
Yeah.
So,
do you think that those dangers still exist today here in Chile?
There are many things that have changed. Actually, because of the censorship of the Black Book, a lot of movement against censorship and against this law was, made. So the next government of Ricardo Lago decided to repeal these provisions, and the law was changed, and I was able to come back. And freedom of expression, I think, gained new grounds. More freedom was available to be exercised. But the problem is that not everybody is interviewed by the media, So there are a group of people, the elite, the powerful ones, that got more freedom of expression than the rest of the people.
Yep.
And I think that that's a problem that remains until today.
I think that that's something that every journalist is always going to have to deal with, no matter what country it seems like that you're in. But in 2016, you were here on La Red, and you had a part of Mentiras Verdaderas.
Yes.
And it was an interesting part to be a part of. Let's take a look at a clip from one of those episodes that we have here, and then we're going to talk about that.
All right. No soy pitoniza, pero es muy probable que el enfrentamiento José Sebastián, que estuvo dormido por varios años, por décadas, cobre nuevos bríos. Cobre nuevos bríos ahora que José ha tomado esta decisión como la bruja mala del oeste que viene a la fiesta a la que no lo invitaron.
O sea, a partir de estas dos entrevistas anoche para todo el país y toda la repercusión mediática que ha generado la jornada de hoy, se escribe una nueva página en esa relación de hermanos. Sí. En esta trabada y difícil relación.
Están poniendo los guantes.
Vuelven al ring, al patio de la casa.
Claro, al ring, al patio de la casa. Exactamente. Es difícil determinar en qué momento se despertó la ambición respecto del patrimonio inmobiliario. Las primeras donaciones probablemente eran sedes para funcionar, pero hay algunas sedes como el claustro del 900, donde funcionaba originalmente la sede central de SEMA Chile, y que uno dice es una propiedad de una envergadura un poco mayor que una simple sede en una población, en donde uno puede pensar que no había netamente un propósito social, sino que alguien estaba mirando eso como un bien inmobiliario. Además son propiedades que se ceden a costo cero, que han pasado casi 30 años. Está absolutamente prescrito cualquier posibilidad de investigación y de retrotraer esa operación. Los actuales dueños de ese bien legítimamente van a decir, porque yo voy a devolver esto si yo lo compré de acuerdo conforme con la ley, es mío ahora. Hay paños donde hay edificios de departamentos, donde los propietarios de esos departamentos me imagino que no van a querer devolver sus bienes. Hay empresas privadas que funcionan, en Isla de Pascua funciona una torre de Entel, en una de esos paños. Entonces, esa posibilidad del Estado de recuperar los bienes físicamente es muy difícil. ¿Quiénes toman las decisiones? Muchas veces un gran número de las personas que tomen decisiones están tocadas por este hecho. Haber trabajado o pretender o querer trabajar en el futuro en una AFP.
Es una figura que se convierte en algo perverso.
Esto se convierte en algo perverso, porque tú como ciudadano y como elector muchas veces desconoces ese hecho.
Destampando la olla, which just means basically revealing everything. Everything in the pot has been now revealed. Now, this part of your life didn't really last all that long.
I think there were only 3 episodes.
And why so little time?
I don't know. As the general manager back then, the producer, the journalistic producer that brought me to do that was fired, and then nobody else called me again. I don't know. I don't think he was fired for this, but I think he was one of his projects and.
But what a difficult thing to talk about when you're just revealing everything on TV and letting it all out there. I thought maybe perhaps it was because something happened, that something was revealed, and they said, "Oh no, we can't do that."
Well, actually, there were issues on the topics I was addressing, particularly with Sebastián Piñera. I wanted to do a next chapter after these ones that you showed about his accusations in the United States for corruption in the management of LATAM.
Interesting. Yeah, I know nothing about this.
I never saw it never saw the light.
No. So you were here in 2016, and now we're in 2021. How do you think this channel has changed in those 5 years?
Well, this channel is like some media that in Chile that have lasted a long time, but it's never the same. I mean, it depends on the year you watch it. It's something totally different. And at this moment, I like what Larret is doing. And I think it did it before briefly, like this little project. And I think it's opening the doors to many things that are not discussed publicly, or they have a little space in other media. So I think it's great, and I hope it lasts.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. So you were in the States not very long ago. I did Mentiras Verdaderas, and you were in New York, I believe.
Yes.
And now you're here in Chile. And do you have a family? How is that to travel around and be away from your family with them, or do they come with you?
No, I go with my family everywhere. I don't think you need too much to be somewhere else. I am not attached to material things, or to the space or to my house. I like my house, but if I have to move and live it in a room with a bathroom, I do it. It's more difficult when there are children, and I have 2 now, so the moving back and forth is more difficult because I have to think about them, schools and all that. But still, I think there is no better education that move away from your comfort zone.
I agree, and that's how I got here to Chile.
Yes.
You learn so much by being outside of your house, your little bubble that you live in. You have to pop that bubble and go, and if you have the opportunity, go and live somewhere else or experience something new. Even though I love the marraqueta, I still have to have pan de molde.
Right? Exactly.
What are your future plans now?
Well, I never planned for that long because, as you can see, my career is normally changed or is subject to the conditions outside of my willing.
Yep.
And journalism in general is under a lot of pressure and a lot of change, not only in Chile but everywhere. So for now, we're staying in Chile, and I'm teaching at University Diego Portales, and I'm doing very interesting projects here at La Red. So I'm very happy. My kids are back to their Chilean school, but we'll see what happens in the future.
You never really know. You never
really know. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the beauty, I think, of being you, a journalist, a true journalist, I think, thinks like that. And you just never know what's going to happen. I think it was because of your experiences that you've had too, but I feel like that's what true journalism is. You know, picking up everything, living out of a suitcase to really undercover some stories. What do you think now of Chile? So we're in a hot time right now with elections. A lot of things are going to be changing as they do every 4 years. Where do you think Chile will be in 2 or 3 years from now?
Well, I think Chile is undergoing a huge transformation. I think this was cooking under the radar of many people, but it's mature. It's not something that, it's not just a change of mood. Yep. It's something that cooked very slowly, but now it's mature and
it's boiling over.
And it's not gonna, you are not gonna be able to put it back in.
Yep.
So I think I'm very happy to be a witness for that. I'm directing a small digital media, La Neta, which is actually, its mission is to cover the convention, the Constitutional Convention. So I feel privileged to be living in Chile and to be a witness of that process, which is important in many aspects. But this has never happened in this country. It has never happened that you have an institution, half men, half women. Mm-hmm. You have never have an institution with seats reserved for originary people. So I'm very happy and I'm very excited of what's going to happen.
It will be very interesting, and it's a good way for me to be learning my Spanish and reading all these things that are happening. It's very interesting to me. But right now, we are going to teach everybody at home some English on our Gringo board. Do you want to help me?
Wonderful.
All right, let's go to the Gringo board. Today in our Gringo classroom, we're going to learn about travel. And here on our board, we have 5 words that have to do with travel that I think that all of you should know at home if you ever want to go anywhere in the world, because English is really the language that you need to know if you travel outside of Latin America. So the first word is embassy. Embassy is very important. It means
Embajada.
Ah, muy bien. I put her on the spot.
Yeah.
Embajada, embassy.
But I would make the point that more important than the embassy is the consulate.
Ah, the consulate.
Because visas and all that are deal with the consulate, not the embassy.
Yeah, and I think for me, it was very interesting because our embassy, the United States Embassy, has helped us so much. They've been there for us. They help us with anything that we need. And then except the visa process. So this one, number 3, the visa, that's what you really have to be careful with. In order to come into another country, you typically have to figure out if you need a visa, how much it will cost, and can you get it before you arrive? Do you have any experiences with getting a visa going to the United States?
Yes, but not a bad one. I always have the visa faster than I get the passport.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For me, my wife has been waiting 6 years for her Chilean visa. But passports. A passport, obviously. This is one thing that I check probably 5 times before I leave to go to the airport. Do I have it? Do I have it? And I always have it. But un pasaporte is very, very, very important. You can't travel outside of Chile. Well, you can go to several different Latin American countries without one here with your carnet. Do you have any experiences of getting a passport?
Well, the passport used to last 10 years. So you normally get one and then forget about it. But it's typical that you're gonna travel and your passport has expired, especially now that it lasts less time. So
that's a really good point. Check the expiration date on your passport.
Expiration date, because 5 years, especially when you're older, go fast.
I think in the United States it's still 10 years.
Yeah.
But for my son, who got one when he was just born, I think he had 3 years. He has to wait 3 years and then get a new one, because I think your face changes and everything.
Yeah.
He has a United States passport and a Chilean passport.
Wonderful.
Do your kids have a
No, I don't have a United States. I think I'm probably one of the only cases of a person returning the green card.
Interesting.
I returned my green card when I arrived to Chile.
Interesting.
Things that we do.
Things that we do, exactly. This is an interesting one. Number 4, identification. Because for me, when I enter Chile, I have to have that carnet so I can go in the fast lane of going through the Chilean lane. And then in the United States, you typically need a car. Do you have any experiences of going to the United States and maybe not having a driver's license, so you couldn't get a car?
Actually, the first time I went to the United States, I had a driver license because it was a requirement. So I took a class to learn how to drive. I never drive before. So I went with that international, it was an international driver license. It was huge.
Yep.
And when I arrived to the United States, they said, no, this is not valid. You need
Same
to
thing happened to me here.
Get
I understand.
a real one. And it took me 3 times. I failed 3 times the test.
But you need it in the United States, especially.
Yes.
Here we have public transportation. The United States, we don't have it that much like you have it here in Chile. The last thing is suitcases. Of course, you need a suitcase. How do you translate a suitcase?
Maleta.
Maleta, yeah. You have to bring all of your bags with you, and then you get to come back from the United States and bring all of the electronics. No.
Yes.
You bring everything with you, but absolutely. Here are 5 words that I think that everybody needs to know if you're coming here to Chile or going to any other country. Embassy, passport, visa, identification, and suitcase. Alejandra, thank you for being a part of my classroom. This was really fun to teach these things.
Wonderful.
All right, let's move over to getting you a gift. Do you know what it's like to live in another country? To give up everything that you knew and go to another country to live? I'm guessing that if you've had that opportunity before, it was probably the best experience of your life, but also the most challenging experience of your life as well. Today, we're going to be talking about that. What is it like? Is it worth it to move to another country, to study abroad, to live, to work? That's what we're talking about today here on The Gringo Show. 5 things that I wish I would have known before I came here to Chile. So my first mistake was just total ignorance. I knew that Chile, you had a lot of people who spoke Spanish and everything, but I didn't realize that not many people, I mean, especially here in Linares, speak any English. Now it's improved a little bit, maybe, but the amount of English here is almost nothing. So I would say one of the things that I wish I would have done was actually studied Spanish, like actually figured out how to say important things besides ¿Dónde está la cerveza? Which brings me to my second thing. First thing, make sure you learn some Spanish. But the second thing is, my second thing is this. In the States, typically, when you go and rent a house there, it comes with everything that you need. I mean, it doesn't come with a bed, but it comes with the countertops, it comes with the refrigerator, it comes with all of the basic, in my opinion, necessities that you'd want in a house. I mean, flowers outside, that kind of stuff I maybe just took for granted. Here, what I learned in my first year was that, man, these are fogging up like crazy with this mask on. What I learned my first year was that everything that you get is yours. So if you put in a new pipe in your, I don't know, underground somewhere, 10 feet underground, that is your right to take with you if you want to after you are done living in that rented place. Also, no countertops potentially come here in Linares. In Santiago, there are places. Other parts of Chile, there are places. And some places here in Linares will have some countertops. But no refrigerator is there, no oven is there. So we had to go and buy all of those things with our very limited Spanish. Number 3 is pride. Let your pride go out the window, because you're going to probably, almost 100% of the time, at least I hope you do, take a bunch of risks. And if you want to talk to people, which I do, I love talking to people and meeting new people and everything, that was one of the hardest things for me when I came here, is that I literally couldn't talk to somebody. It was like being in when did I move here? Maybe 28 years old I was or something, and acting like a baby. When I talk to people, I just don't have, and still after 5 years, I don't have every single word to say to people. And it's really frustrating. But you have to change in your mind how you talk to people and how you think. You have to use the words that are available to you that you know. So for me, it was really, really difficult because, well, I guess I'm very prideful and I don't want to look bad or feel bad or anything. So I wouldn't take risks and I would just kind of sit on the side and not say anything. But taking risks is where all the fun happens. When you say something stupid, like what I said once was, Elise is caliente en la cama, that means that you don't want to know. Let's keep this a kid-friendly show, but it's bad. I've said some really bad things, and that'll maybe make another video about all the bad things, maybe the top 5 things that I've said that are bad. Subscribe if you want to see something like that. Leave a comment below, too, if you'd like to see something like that. And, oh, my goodness, there is a good list there. That'd be hard to limit to 5 things, but it's all about taking risks, and you have to take risks in order to live in another country. You knew that coming in, but doing the language thing and humbling myself to that level was it was difficult for me. So I hope that you guys are okay with me just riding around empty fields and random places and talking to you guys about these 5 things that I've learned from in my past. This is a very random place to talk to you. But anyways, number 4 is sports. In the United States, I grew up playing 3 different sports every single year. And in the fall time, when school started, which was a different time of the year altogether, in August, September, I would play football. Some people would play soccer. And then in the wintertime, I would play basketball. And then in the springtime, I personally would play golf. And a lot of people would play baseball, and there were different sports. But the idea was that, especially in high school, there were tons of sports. I taught high school here in Linares, and the big sports are soccer. That's what everybody talks about, is soccer here. So I wish that I would have played soccer when I was in high school or college. I had opportunities to, but I just never did because it wasn't super popular. And I think it's changing a little bit in the United States, but in general, I would say that I wish that I knew a little bit more about soccer. I did coach soccer. I know about soccer. I coached high school soccer before coming here, but I wish that I would have played it to really get into playing soccer here with friends. I enjoy doing that. I have done that, but I'm just not as good as everybody else. Maybe I should just coach them or something. Waterboy? And number 5, patience. Patience is something that I've always struggled with, but especially when I'm here in Chile, things just take a lot longer. And I think if I were to be an immigrant in the United States too, coming from Chile, it would take a long time for paperwork and everything. But the idea of lines and sitting and waiting, I just hate sitting and waiting. And it's something that I have to practice, and patience is something that I just need to work on. And Moses definitely helps me with that. The benefits of living in another country are pretty obvious. Typically, you get to try new foods, you get to maybe learn another language, you get to experience new things. And this is all amazing and great. And these are things that you could never learn in a classroom. These are invaluable lessons that you can learn. El clima, the Spanish word for weather. So before we talk about the weather in Chile, let's talk about the weather as it was for me in the United States. You see, oh my goodness, that is dirty. Holy cow, just splashed through a bunch of puddles. There we go. The weather where I'm from in the United States is so cold in the wintertime. It's very, very cold. There are wind chills of like -30 sometimes. It's so cold that you could throw a bucket of water outside in the cold times and it would just freeze in the air. I mean, it is cold in the wintertime. Whereas here, I mean, I'm going out and I'm just skateboarding around and it's beautiful in the morning. I can do this. My hands aren't frozen. I mean, sometimes they are, but right now they're not frozen. And I mean, I feel like, well, I know that, at least in Linares, things are so much better as far as the weather goes. This all being said, I feel like I was a little bit deceived when I moved here to Chile. You see, when you look on a weather app of any sort, really, and you see the temperature and it says 60 degrees Fahrenheit. What is that in Celsius? I don't know, maybe 15 degrees Celsius. It does not feel like that. It feels much more like, I don't know, 0 degrees, because, well, it doesn't get sunny typically until much later, at least here in Linares. I mean, this lasts probably four months or so where it just doesn't get sunny until maybe noon. So people don't wake up right away. I mean, I don't wake up right away. It's still dark out and everything. And I mean, if it says 60, it really means 0 or maybe 32 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. It's so much colder. And besides that, when you go into your house, it's not like there's automatic heat that turns on or is always on. That would cost a fortune here. Maybe some of you guys have it, but for us, at least here in Linares, or for Elise and I, that would cost so much because electricity prices are so much higher here. But you would have to instead take your wood, at least here in Linares. Some places like Santiago, you can't do this at all. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying this is what people do. You take the wood and you heat up your house with starting a little fire. I mean, it's not like you're going to have a warm house in 5 minutes. Everything has to warm up. So after a full day of work, of being gone for 10 hours or so at work, you just warm up enough for going to bed, pretty much. And at least it's a little warmer at night in your house. But do you even turn it on at that point? Do you just go straight to bed and be warm in the covers? I don't know. But it is definitely much cooler here than I feel in the United States, as far as that goes. I don't know. Maybe you guys have felt this before, coming to Chile, and you feel it's so much colder here. But I feel like, I mean, it's just the way that things are heated. And another thing to point out here is the difference between summer and winter. You see, in the United States, summers are very, very humid, at least where I'm from. And the southern parts of the United States are super, super humid, unless you're in the desert area in the western part of the United States. But for me, it's super, super humid and really, really hot in the summertime. Here, it's very dry, and it's a Mediterranean climate, which means that it rains all the time here in the winter time. I mean, at least here in the Maule region, south of Santiago, it rains a lot in the winter. But in the summertime, we go for months without seeing any rain whatsoever. And you can look at your phone and you can see sunny, 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 and the same exact temperature every single day. I mean, usually you don't even see a cloud in the sky for months, which is crazy to me because where I'm from in the United States, there might be a big thunderstorm storm or something like that that comes in the middle of summertime. I mean, at least once a week, I would say, you're going to have some sort of a thunderstorm. So you have to pay attention to what the weather is going to be like. Whereas here, it's just always the same. In the summertime, it's always sunny and almost always in the 80s or around 28 degrees Celsius, 30 degrees Celsius. It's really, really beautiful. I feel like this is all just like second nature to me now, and probably for all of you guys watching that are from Chile. Of course you need to heat your house, and you need to start a fire, or you need to turn the heater on when you get into the house. But for me, coming from the United States, where you just have a button and you turn it maybe down in the winter time when you're gone, I mean, it's totally different because you enter a building in the United States, it's the perfect temperature. It's kind of like going into your car. You have the air conditioner in the car, and it takes a couple of minutes to get started. In the States, it's just always on usually. I mean, almost always is the case. Whereas here, you have to turn it on when you want it on. And I'm totally used to it now. I'm good with it. I could never pay the electricity bill. It's super expensive here to keep it on all the time. Maybe some of you guys do it. Maybe you have to do it out of necessity because it's so cold where you are here in Chile. I know in Punta Arenas, when I went in our summertime, in Chile summertime, we had the heater on because it was like a high of like, I don't know, 10 degrees Celsius or something like that in the middle of summer down there. So I think down there you have to have your heater on all the time. And what they have is a little bit different. But here, at least in the Maule region, where we have about 3 or 4 months of cool winters, and even we're in the middle of winter right now, and it's beautiful out. It's morning right now, and the birds, you can hear them, they're going nuts. But the sun is actually out, which is fairly rare here. It's been rainy like crazy here. Tons and tons and tons of rain. So my change from the United States was really, really good. But if you're coming from the southern parts of the United States and coming here to Chile, it's going to be cool. But if you go to the northern parts of Chile, it'll be warmer. It's a desert up there. So it's a little bit warmer. It just depends where you go. I'm just talking about my section here in Linares. And I hope that you guys, if you're thinking about coming here to Chile, or if you're here in Chile and you wanted to know a little bit about my experience before coming here to Chile and what it's like in the United States, well, I can tell you right now, it's going to be, or it is, completely different than the United States.
Now, I know that not everybody gets a passport or a visa to go and travel around and know other places around the world. But if you ever do get the chance to go and live somewhere else and experience new culture, try something besides marraqueta, no. Don't give that up. Pack that in your bag. Bring that with you. That's so good. But at the same time, it's so nice to go and meet new people and know that the world and different places around the world can do things differently. It's an absolutely beautiful part of traveling.
Which one is better, Chile or the United States? Let's dive into it. And to give you a little bit of background first, Elise and I moved here about 5 years ago now, and we didn't know what Chile was all about. We'd never been here before. We didn't even know where in the world it was, and we came to live here with our dog and 4 suitcases. And, well, we're still here. But we arrived here in Longaví. And this is where we were teaching for almost 3 years. And Elise is still teaching here in this awesome town of Longaví, which we absolutely love. This was maybe my favorite part of being here in Chile. I'm not leaving, but this was one of my favorite parts that I've had here in Chile, working in Longaví. And you also have to realize that when I came here, Elise and I both, we didn't know really any Spanish. So we got off the plane and had no idea what was going on. We were so confused, but luckily for us, there were people who cared. And that's where I think the Longaví part was so so good for us because we got to meet people like you guys who are watching these videos right now who are just good people. And I think that our experience was different than other people because you get different experiences of people coming off an airplane and they're just super confused and they get ripped off by people in the airport who are bringing them places, taxi drivers and all of that. And that can happen anywhere. But luckily for us, we just had good people who cared for us and took us under their wings and helped us out. Of course, one of the things that Alicia and I miss is our family. We miss our family so much, and it's really hard to be here because you never know what's going to happen to them. You kind of feel like you're missing out on something in Christmas or Easter or birthday parties and all these different get-togethers that you're not there for. But for us, Chile is a part of us now. We've been here, we've struggled, we've gone through so many difficult things, and there are definitely some things like this random toilet and things that I wish that I could clean up here in Chile and make it better. And I feel like you guys are a big part of why I love Chile as well. Every week I get to read all of your incredibly kind comments, and it just motivates me to continue to make these videos and continue to talk to you guys, meet you guys, and I think you guys and the other people that maybe aren't watching these videos are what makes Chile unique to me. I love the food. I love the marraqueta especially. I love the places, the mountains, the ocean. It's absolutely beautiful here, but you are what make Chile unique and so great. And I'm not saying that in the United States the people aren't great. I like the people in the United States as well. I have tons of friends there. But there's just something about Chile that I love that I could never see myself moving to another country because I just love it here. And I think you're what make me love Chile. Oh, and don't you think I don't know that in the comments section you're going to say, but in the United States you make so much more money. And that might be true, but I don't think that life is all about making a ton of money and buying a beautiful house and all these things. I like to travel. Elise loves to travel. I love to see things. I love to meet people. That's what I love about life. It's not all about the money. I make these videos not to make money. It's because I love to interact with you. To be honest with you, I lose money making these videos. I don't gain anything. I mean, I gain just like a tiny fraction of what it costs to find the music. This camera is super expensive, drone, all this stuff. It's just because I love talking to you guys and I love making more videos and showing off Chile because I love Chile. And you guys make me love Chile. This has been really fun to get to know you, Alejandra, and talk with you, speak with you in English, share some things in our Gringo board together. But most importantly, we have a little gift for you from Basilur.
Wow.
Hey.
Thank you.
These are some of the best teas that you'll ever have in your entire life. They're so good, and it should keep you nice and warm in the wintertime.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I really appreciated you coming on our Gringo show.
Thank you. I think it's a great initiative because a lot of people learn English in this country and don't have the opportunity to see it spoken. So I think it's
I great. Feel very fortunate to be a part of it. So thank you for being a part of it. What an amazing experience to talk with Alejandra Matthews today on The Gringo Show, where we get to speak and teach in English together. I hope that you all had as much fun as I did here on The Gringo Show, and I can't wait to see you all next week. Make sure you check us out on Twitter and Instagram, and until next week, bye.